Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you a side-by-side camera comparison between the LG G5 and the Galaxy S7. Now, when doing a camera comparison, we go over the four main topics that are really important to cameras. So we go over low light, detail, color reproduction, and of course selfies. Alright, so in the first section, we actually have a little bit of a surprising difference. Now, I always like to make a point to let you guys know that I do only take one photo for each phone when taking it. So if it ends up being a little blurry, well, I say that's just what normal people would do when you take a photo. You don't normally take a look at it always to make sure it's clear. That being said, in this comparison, the S7 is a little bit blurry where it has taken better pictures than this in our other comparisons. However, going off of this picture alone, the G5 is going to have the better low light in this instance, just because when we zoom into it, we can see things like this tree a lot more clearly, and therefore it's just going to have the better overall color as well, whereas this one plays good with the color, this one kind of gets washed out by it. So in terms of the two, although I will say the S7 has the better asphalt color reproduction, it's definitely a warmer tone here, and overall probably what most people would want in a low light photo. So for that reason, in the low light comparison, the LG G5 will win the low light. Now when it comes to detail, we always take a look at exactly what parts we can see in this image. Now in this image, neither one did honestly particularly amazing, but again, we're going for the better one overall. So as we zoom in, we can see a distinct difference between some specific parts in this picture. That being said, the PS4 and PS4 section on both are relatively clear on both, but when you get to titles like Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat X, it's definitely sharper on the S7 on the right compared to the G5 on the left. Now, especially when you get to the PS3 titles, again, you see a much clearer PS3 logo all across the board. So overall, when it comes to detail, you're going to want to go with the Galaxy S7. And now indoors, we do see a color tint more warmer on the S7, whereas the G5 is perhaps underproducing color, which we're going to get to right now in our color comparison. So these are very two different photos, and really I feel that they're doing the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Whereas the S7 is giving you a much warmer color, the G5 is giving you a much cooler color. Now, the truth is, between these two, your colors are in the middle. There's not really one well represented here. Between the yellow and orange on the King of Tokyo, you're really getting an in-between. It's more yellow closer to this and not as dull in here. But when we go to the green on the Android, the LG is closer than the S7, although the LG isn't correct either. That's again a bit cooler than you actually see. It's the green is in between these two. Another really distinction is definitely in the yellow, whereas the yellow on here very faded, and especially even the red right there, whereas the yellow on this love letter more of a gold, definitely representing a different shade. So when it comes to these two in terms of color reproduction, I will call it a tie. Neither one represents color exactly as it should be, and the S7 goes too warm, whereas the G5 goes too cool. So this one will be a tie. And of course, last one we go to is the selfie comparison. Now when it comes to selfies, you definitely get a huge difference between these two and in multiple things. So the first thing we always take a look at is the background, just to see how well it does with light and dark. The left side is purposely left dark so that we can see how it does with graininess and fuzziness, and definitely the S7 is having a clearer shot there, as you can see with even the crack on the door, and you cannot see it on the G5. When it comes to upstairs, you see the railing is just really fuzzy and just definitely isn't handling the exposure as well. It's trying to overcompensate for it. Whereas the S7, although not perfect, definitely does a much better job of actually showing the detailing in the railing that you just can't see here, and it's definitely more in focus. Finally, when we get to the subject itself, you definitely get a wider shot with the S7 as comparing to the G5. As you can see the door on this side and one more step part on here, whereas you cannot see that on the G5. Overall, the selfie is definitely clear looking as well, and a great overall tone with the S7. Now, to be perfectly fair, since both have a front-facing flash, we did take one more selfie with that to see what the difference would be. And the front-facing flash definitely helps out the G5 with the crack now being visible on the door and the railing being a bit clearer. However, it greatly helped the S7 as well, even getting a sharper image, definitely more that you can see in the face without brightening it too much. So the G5 seemed to overexpose it when you have this side, whereas the S7 gives you a good representation of yourself, but not over whitewashing it more so. And definitely the railing even looks better and more accurate here than it did on the previous shot. So overall, if you're going to use the front-facing flash, it will help you out in different color lighting situations. However, the S7 just does seem to be the better overall for selfie taking. So that being said, let's go back to the beginning. The G5 took 1 point for the low light. The S7 took 1 point for detail. The color reproduction was a tie, one being a cooler tone and one being a warmer tone. And the selfie went to the S7. Overall, in a 2-to-1 points, it's going to be the S7 having the better overall camera between the two. Now again, it does depend on what you're looking for in a camera, but with this, we do have a better overall looking camera with the Galaxy S7. Thank you as always for watching. Please give a like, thumbs up down below. This has been RICKY, the answer.